Casper just recently announced something. Now, even though nothing I say is financial advice, and even though I'm not telling anyone to do anything, what is that? They talk about how today is ISO 20022 day, and below that, they talk about how Casper is proud to be on the very short list of blockchains marked as ISO 20022 compatible. Now, is Casper the only one? Absolutely not, but I'm saying that's pretty impressive because the way you take a look at it is this. Even though, as of right now, clearly Casper is well below a cent, or should I say well below a penny, but at the same time, we have to consider why is ISO 20022 a pretty cool thing, I think, within this space, or just generally speaking, because ISO 20022, that is currently being used by many financial institutions from all around the world for something called inter-organizational data exchange. So it's something already kind of doing its thing, right? It's not experimental, it's nothing like that. Again, it's something that's already kind of pretty well known amongst financial institutions, at least in my perspective. So when I take a look at Casper, again, supposedly being on the very short list of blockchains marked as ISO 20022 compatible, that is pretty interesting to me because an aspect of ISO 20022, we see that with projects like Stellar, for instance, like an Algorand, right, with an XDC. So when it comes to, again, in the case of Casper, I mean, it is just in the short list, right, of the blockchains marked as ISO 20022 compatible. So it's not really like such a big deal or something like that. It's not really like the best thing of all time. It's just being part of that list, I would say. But at the same time as well, I find it pretty cool because not a lot of projects are like on there. Like Casper is not the only one, but I'm saying like it's nothing that every single project could maybe do in some cases, arguably, I would say. Now, people like to tell me, okay, when it comes to something like this, who cares because the price isn't doing the best? I'm totally aware of that. But is Casper the only project out there having a pullback? Absolutely not. Many projects out there are having a pullback. So it's nothing like it's only Casper, even though Casper historically hasn't really done the best either. But I'm saying it's not only just this case, right? Like if we take a look at it, bigger projects out there pretty much kind of competing in the space of Casper. You know what I mean, right? Take a look at the Near protocol. Near is having a pullback. Take a look at Algorand, or we take a look at Avalanche, Ethereum, Cardano, BNB. They're just all having a pullback, relatively speaking. So when I take a look at something like this, I just feel like I don't have the mindset where I give up because if let's say I am walking inside a store, if a bunch of items in there are having a discount, what am I going to be focusing on? The things that I actually do want. Like for instance, let's say I want a t-shirt and I want a pair of jeans. That's what I'm going to be focusing on. I'm going to be a little bit more kind of intentional with what I do because if let's say generally speaking that store is having just a discount overall, let's say it's like a clearance sale, I'm going to be focusing on the items that I actually do want. That's the way to take a look at it. At least when it comes to that example, it's a t-shirt and jeans, right? However, when I take a look at it as of right now, people like to tell me, oh, Casper is never going to do this or do that. Well, the thing about Casper is that, yeah, sure, I mean, it's not necessarily the most popular project out there, but we've seen some moments of momentary brilliance, like for instance, back in 2024, reaching a market cap of around 600 million. And in 2023, we saw that as well when it comes to it. So that was not even during an altcoin season. If for whatever reason, Casper just went to the market cap that it did back in, let's say, March of 2024, which was around 600 million. I mean, if we take a look at as of right now at around 80 million, like it's over 7 times that. You know what I mean? Not to say that it could, but I'm just saying. However, even besides that as well, when I take a look at something like this, there's a lot of layer one blockchains. I'm totally aware of that. However, at times it's not only just one layer one blockchain doing its thing and then the rest don't really do anything. Like for instance, Ethereum's pretty popular, but Solana is as well. You know what I mean? We take a look at BNB, that's also pretty massive. So it's not just a one thing for kind of all the space, right? In terms of a layer one blockchain. Like for instance, is there only H&M as a brand? No, I mean there's a lot of options within the apparel space. That's the way to take a look at it. There's Abercrombie, right? We take a look at there's, let's say in the case of Lululemon or, yeah, I mean, again, there's a bunch of options, but I'm just saying. Or even Uniqlo, right? But I'm just saying again, it's not only just one thing doing something and then the rest don't really care. So when I take a look at this space, I don't think it's any different really in that specific sense where it's not only just one layer on blockchain. I feel like there is a lot. And now not every single one is probably gonna become that famous, but I'm saying Casper doesn't even really need to be the most famous to begin with, in my perspective, because it's just so low to the point that if I take a look at the hypothetical idea of maybe 25 cents, sure, it's around a 40x from here. But at the same time, if I compare it to a microcap, then of course it's not going to be like that dynamic if, let's say, there was an altcoin season. However, if let's say Ethereum went to 10 grand, is that over a 4x or even, over a 5x? Absolutely not. Is Bitcoin going to 300 grand over a 4x from here? No, it's not. If let's say even 12.5 cents is a hypothetical scenario, who knows? But I'm saying, even from that point, we're still around 20 times lower than that. If let's say maybe that even happened during a make believe scenario, who knows? So this is why I still haven't given up. I am still staying patient. I'm holding and I'm waiting because I just don't think I've seen an altcoin season. The thing is, for me, Casper is one of these projects that has, I think, never experienced a true altcoin season. I mean, just historically, that's the way to take a look at it. I mean, what has it done? You know what I mean? In the grand scheme of things. Also, the adoption isn't the best. But I don't think it's necessarily such a bad thing because at times we've seen in like even the previous altcoin season in 2021, which I don't think we've seen during the cycle, but I'm just saying like the previous one, right? If you catch what I mean, but I'm saying, when was the altcoin season happening for Casper at that time? You know what I mean? So personally for me as a layer one blockchain, I'm still a fan when it comes to Casper. Again, the adoption isn't the best, but what can I do about it? That's the way to take a look at it. Now, 25 cents, considering current circulating supply at that point, market cap would be around 3.5 billion. Like, for instance, I mean, BNB over 30x that basically even back in 2021. Granted, BNB reached a new all time high during this cycle, whereas clearly Casper hasn't really even done that much at all. But I'm saying I am still staying patient. I'm still holding. I'm still waiting. Now, some people like to ask me, am I only holding Casper? The answer is absolutely not. Because, first of all, I cannot control the future. That is not a possibility for me. Also, on top of that, I can't control what happens to the charts and all this. There's nothing I can do when it comes to that. So, what I do is I just, again, dollar cost average once a month, and that's pretty much about it. I'm not trying to tell anyone to do this or do that. No, but at the same time, I'm not going to be able to know when exactly something is going to happen. So instead, I just prepare and that's about it. Personally, I am about preparation, not about like reaction, right? Or should I say reactive sort of kind of vibe where if something does this, I try to do this. No, I'm just dollar cost averaging once a month and that's pretty much about it. And I think Casper, never ever having experienced a quote unquote, I think true altcoin season in terms of popularity and stuff like that, I don't think it's necessarily such a bad thing because sometimes not every single individual that I know is going to automatically just believe in the layer one blockchain with the massive, like, market cap, or should I say with the most massive, right? Let me correct myself there. Market cap. So when it comes to something like, again, Ethereum or something like BNB, I am, a fan of what they've done so far, but as of right now, their market cap is pretty massive. When it comes to Casper, again, it hasn't experienced an altcoin season, and the market cap is not even like what 100 million as of right now. So just overall, personally, all I can do is stay patient, and that's what I'm gonna do. But I just wanted to make this video real quick and just talk about the announcement they made because it's pretty interesting, right? People don't really think about that sometimes when it comes to Casper, but allegedly it is something that they're talking about as of right now. So yeah, I mean, what can I do about it, right? I think it's pretty cool, but is it really going to do much to the price in the short term? I think probably not really. I mean, probably there's going to be a ceiling if there is no altcoin season, but I'm saying if let's say there was an altcoin season, that is a completely different case, but I just don't think I've seen one during this cycle. So I'm just going to stay patient, hold, and yeah, I guess that's pretty much about it. And I want to say thank you for watching. I hope y'all have a nice day. It's only the captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.